Hey you! Yeah, you. What are you still doing outside? We're all inside, waiting for you. We can't start story time till everyone's seated. Come on now, let's go inside. Now, if you all remember correctly, we last left off after Estelle and Joshua Hey, quiet down now, kids. Come on, kids. Settle down and let me read.
Shut up, you brats.
Much better. Now, as I was saying, we last left off with Joshua running away after he and Estelle had a little smoochy smooch. So let us continue the story of Estelle, Joshua, and friends in Trails in the Sky SC, the second book in the Trails in the Sky visual novel series. If you haven't played Trails in the Sky, you might be very confused about this statement. So let me help you understand what playing Trails in the Sky is really like. Picture this in your mind's eye. There you are, fighting the final boss of the current chapter, which has taken 4 to 5 hours of gameplay to reach, 2 to 3 hours of which was spent purely reading dialogue boxes. You have need to piss for over an hour, but you could tell the chapter was ending soon, so you decide to hold it. For you and I are very mentally sane individuals, and must push through to the start of the next chapter before we let ourselves pause, save, and take a break. Only true psychopaths would pause a movie or put down a book and take a break right in the middle of the climax of a story arc. If you ever see someone in your life do that, run. Not only are they unsafe to be around, they are unfit for any societal role. What do you think about such people? My favorite political streamer of all time, who I agree with unequivocally on every issue.
And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about
Ouroboros.
I'm so serious about this.
Thanks, Hassan Piker. I can always rely on you to give me sane, level-headed advice on how to navigate this confusing world. Then you finally defeat the end of chapter boss, but you can't go pee just yet. You gotta spend 20 minutes reading all the end of chapter dialogue. Then once that's done, you still can't go take a slash yet, because you need to spend another 15 minutes reading all the dialogue for the start of the next chapter. Only then can you finally pause, save, and take a break to piss.
Look what I can do! Look what I can do! Look what I can do! Whoa! 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 Isn't that so powerful? Isn't that amazing? I love that.
You might think this is a strange way to describe what playing a Trails game is like. But suppressing my need to urinate for hours at a time to see what happens next in the story happened to me so often while playing, I can only assume it's a universal experience. I'm not gonna bother giving you any description of the gameplay like I normally would at this point of a video, because it's identical to the previous title, and I already did a video on that. It's so identical, in fact, that 70% of the locations you visit or enemies you fight are reused assets from the first game. You probably can't even tell which of the side-by-side footage is from the first game and which is from the second. Do not worry your pretty little noggin. All the money they saved by reusing assets went straight into the animation budget. So instead of having one animated cutscene at the end of the game, like Trails' first chapter, you have a bunch of them scattered throughout the story of Trails SC, which is very, very cool. Also, the fact that you can load your save from the first game into the second game and start with the characters leveled to the same point as when you finished the first title is absolutely sick. I can't remember the last time I played a series that used this mechanic, and I'm told they still do it in the Trails series, even up to its modern game releases, which the only appropriate response is based. Okay, same rules as my previous Trails video apply. I will retell the story. Names, places, who, what, where, when, why events happened, relying solely on my dyslexic, undiagnosed, but pretty sure brain to remember off the top of my head after a single playthrough without looking anything up to make sure I got it right. And if you are worried about spoilers, there will be a lot. But not all. The only spoilers will be the ones I can actually remember. The story picks up right after the final events of the previous game. Estelle wakes up in a panic, trying to find Joshua. She gets into it with Chad Dad, having the kind of fight only a 16-year-old white girl can have. Then does her best Ryan Gosling impression by having a mental breakdown in the rain. While dramatically aura-farming Gosling style, she makes up her mind she must return home. Joshua must be there waiting for her. Joshua wouldn't abandon her like that, so she buys an airship ticket and returns home, only to meet a young adult priest with green hair called Father Kevin, who is also traveling on the flight. Seeing an underage tomboy crying by herself on the airship deck, he decides to do the most appropriate thing in this given situation, and proceeds to shoot his shot while Estelle is at her most emotionally vulnerable point. It's the kind of move someone who was way too into YouTube pickup artistry videos in the early 2010s would pull out.
Can I get your number? No? Can I get your number?
I have a boyfriend.
Can I get your number?
I have a boyfriend.
Can I get your number?
I'm lesbian.
Can I get your number?
That's my
Can I get your number?
Actually,
It's a swing and a miss, but game recognizes game. Emotionally manipulating a girl way out of your league for a bit of that good old-fashioned skinship, while she's at her lowest point in life, has been the meta strat since the Council of Men convened in the early 1900s and decided 50% of the global population also deserve rights. This interaction does cheer Estelle up a little, however, going to show that even for a goated tomboy like Estelle, attention is still the most important currency for a woman. Once Estelle returns home, we get to watch as she frantically searches through her home for Joshua, only to find nothing. Not even gonna lie, it's painful to watch. I felt so bad for Estelle in this scene. I teared up a little. What can I say? I'm just an emotional little guy. 6'4", by the way. Then a bunch of people show up, but the only two I remember is Chad Dad and Sir Charizard. Wait, fuck. I asked the guy who told me to play this game series how to pronounce it over Discord. Let me double check. Shah-Ray Azad. Sharay Azad. Shahrazad. Shahrazad. Alright, yep. You all might think that dyslexic comment was a joke, but no, it's a lifestyle choice. After this, there is a training camp tutorial prologue. The Epstein Foundation gets name dropped. That name choice has aged as poorly as that one guy I knew in high school who got way too into huffing spray paint. He's only 25 years old in this picture. After the final test to graduate the Bracer training camp, it gets attacked by a group of Jaegers. But it's really a group of Bracers, and it's painfully obvious that it's the real hidden test of the Bracer training camp. Look, it's a game that was released back in 2006. I expect there to be tropes and themes in it that since it came out are now common or obvious in the year of our Lord, 2025. The most impressive thing I have found out about the story so far in Trails is how few and far between these are for a 20-year-old game. We then scene shift to Joshua being an emo edgelord with the Sky Bandits in his ruin of a hometown, Hamel. I distinctly remember Joshua saying something along the lines of, "No one can understand me," to which I almost spat out my morning coffee. Cringe as fuck now, but emo was at its peak of popularity back in 2006, and if I'm gonna go mask off for a second, I gotta be real. I also had a period where I fell for the sexy sad white boy psyop. No one is immune to propaganda. That's the end of the prologue and the start of chapter 1. We begin this chapter with a choice of which senior bracer to team up with to investigate the secret organization revealed at the end of the previous game, Mossad. Or, if we want to be super duper accurate, It's called Ouroboros. So, we gotta pick what bracer to team up with to search. The options are red-haired bracer guy, Agate, or Shahrazad. Shahrazad. I don't think it will come as a surprise, but I chose to go on this journey with the gypsy Dommy Mommy. I am but a simple man who takes pleasure in the simple things in life. So Estelle and Shahrazad head to that town where the man got arrested for burning down an orphanage to begin their investigation into Ouroboros. And I 100% would have done the story immediately, but as I was exploring the town, I stumbled upon a gambling den. So, you best bet I spent the first 2 hours scum saving until I won big. And I sure as hell won big. You hear this sound? It's the sound of a winner. After cashing out my winnings, I got back to the story. A spooky ghost has been sighted in and around the city. Shahrazad seduces a young man for info, which he immediately folds and spills his guts. He's just like me, for real. Then, the gang goes full Scooby-Doo, trying to solve the mystery of the mysterious ghost. Turns out, it's some Phantom of the Opera looking motherfucker, working for Ouroboros, testing a new use for the Black MacGuffin from the first game, creating hologram projections in preparation for Project Bluebeam. Wait. Sorry. Wrong reality. He's what's known as an enforcer in Ouroboros, and he's trying to kidnap Princess Chloe, not for his organization, but because he finds her beautiful and he wants her. Her consent in the matter is completely irrelevant. You win the fight, but lose anyway, then get saved by a ditzy photographer called Dorothy, who I completely forgot about when making my previous video. And that's the end of Chapter 1. Chapter 2 has the gang back in the magical Deck Town, meeting up with Tita, the little rocket girl, to investigate weird seismic activity in the area. But people being able to weaponize earthquakes? That's crazy talk. What are you, some kind of crazy conspiracy theorist? Anyway, so, turns out Mossad is using the MacGuffins to weaponize earthquakes. Fuck. Ouroboros, sorry. I haven't taken my meds in a while, and reality and fiction are really starting to blur. So, we meet another Ouroboros enforcer. This guy. If you watched my first Trails video, you might be proud of me for how many more characters' names I am able to remember. But you will realize that mostly only applies to characters from the previous title. I am not good with names, so I tend to remember characters by descriptive features. So this is Mafia Man with evil Chinese sunglasses. I can't think of a single character I have ever seen in Japanese media who wears these 12th century Chinese... I don't know how to pronounce Chinese. Sunglasses, who isn't a villain. Whatever could the Japanese mean by this? You fight the evil Chinese Mafia Man in some cave. But I just remembered you don't actually fight them. You fight minions they summon. It's the same with the Phantom of the Opera enforcer. I only just remembered now. I could go back and change it to be correct, but that's going against the spirit of this video. You beat the minions, but the weaponized earthquake experiment was a success. So, evil Chinese Mafia Man dips the fuck out because you are so far beneath him in terms of strength, it's not worth his time to bother killing you. After returning to the town to report everything that happened, the, I want to say, 12, maybe 13-year-old little rocket girl Tita joins you on your mission because her grandfather said it's safer for her to be on the front lines fighting Mossad than hiding in town waiting to be attacked again. Crazy leap in logic, but it's needed for the plot, so I will forgive the grandpa for offering up his granddaughter as a child soldier in the war against Israel. Moving on. Chapter 3 begins with a search for a lost child, who I'm fairly confident is called Renee. She's an Ouroboros enforcer, but that's the end of the chapter, big reveal. This chapter sees the CIA once again being controlled by legally distinct Mossad. This is what I love about fantasy games. you get to explore themes that could never, ever happen in real life. Right, guys? This could never happen in the real world. Right? 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 So the CIA uses the MacGuffin, called a gospel. I just remembered what it was called. To EMP all the orbital tech. So you gotta fight a state-of-the-art tank with, if I remember my party composition correctly, a whip, a fencing sword, 2 fists, and a big stick. After you beat Renee, the Angel of Slaughter, she proceeds to trauma dump some vague shit about her past. And if you're capable of reading between the lines, it's dark as fuck. Chapter 4, I'm pretty sure, starts with us playing as an edgelord on a warpath. AKA, we're playing as Joshua again. They steal the impounded Capua Sky Bandit skyship from a military base, and the ditzy pink-haired photographer girl snaps a picture of Joshua and the Sky Bandit girl. Then it's back to Estelle and the gang. Estelle receives the photo of Joshua together with Jose, I think was her name, and proceeds to be moody, jealous, and unfocused for a large amount of this chapter. So Estelle has a deep and meaningful with Scheherazade, and proceeds to get slapped by the gypsy dominatrix. I'm not jealous at all. Why don't you go fuck yourself? It's not a how dare you slap. It's a get your head back in the game kind of slap. I absolutely love the duality between men and women when it comes to this kind of story beat. For women, it's like this. But for men, it's like this.
Oh, Simon, open the hatch!
Let's see you grit those teeth!
Back to the story. This chapter takes place in Estelle's hometown. There is a creepy, unnatural mist spreading across the region. So, it's up to Estelle and the gang to unravel what Definitely Not Mossad is using Definitely Not HAARP for, and to stop them before more people get hurt. So, who from Ouroboros could be behind this? Is it another sexual predator LARPer who's way too into musicals? An evil Chinese stereotype? A cute and funny lowly with homicidal tendencies? How about I raise you a second Gypsy Dommy Mommy, but this time more mature and with blue hair? Would. Then something happens. I don't remember. I was only using one hand to play the game at this time, so the rest of this is a little bit fuzzy. Chapter 5. Evil Professor Wiseman and the Edgelord of Ouroboros, the Blade Lord, go catch a legendary dragon Pokemon, whose name, when I looked up how to pronounce it correctly, turned out is actually quite a serious internet battle. And use it to smash a single building in a town as a flex, then dip, when they could have easily just killed everyone there. But think about it. If you kill everyone, no one will remember how badass you looked while flexing. One big dramatic airship dragon chase and a bunch of walking later, it's time to fight the bad MK Ultra dragon. A gate gives it a boop on the snoot and cracks the gospel. But the game needs it to be a boss battle, so you win with a second boop to the snoot. The dragon is free to say some wise but cryptic words, and then fucks off somewhere. No idea. At the end of the day, the dragon was super chill. Chapter 6. This one starts with Joshua pulling off a sick mid-air grapple hook move as he dips the fuck out from chilling with the Sky Bandits and begins a solo operation my brain named Operation Edgelord's Revenge. Then it's back to Estelle and the gang, getting told it's time for a break and a few days rest. This well-deserved rest is broken up as one of the braces from the other bracer party you interact with a bunch, but I can't remember their names, arrives by themselves unconscious in a rowboat. Their team were looking into Ouroboros' base location, and now, other than the unconscious party leader who has had his memories wiped by the evil professor, everyone else is missing. So, Father Kevin does some priest magic to recover his memories, and you begin a new operation to infiltrate Ouroboros' base and rescue the missing braces. So, you infiltrate the evil lair, beat the mind control braces up, then once they are unable to move, Father Kevin pulls out his phone and shows them the only thing in the world known to break Mossad's MK Ultra tactics. Anime Girl, Agatha, Black Sun, meme edits. The ones with Asuka and Rei from Evangelion, dressed as an SS officer, and our glorious father, Yakub, have been scientifically proven to be the most effective against Israeli propaganda. The homeless crack addict who lives in the park around the corner from my house told me this in confidence, so it must be true. But once you have rescued everyone, it's revealed it was all a trap. Estelle is kidnapped and taken aboard their mothership. I feel like the ship had a pretty cool name, but I'm drawing a blank, so I guess I will just have to refer to it as the 30%, since about 30% of the animation budget was used for the dramatic cutscenes they made to show it off. So there we have Estelle, trapped, thousands of feet in the air. Ouroboros tries to convince Estelle to join them so she can be together with Joshua again. She, however, chooses to escape. But as she is cornered with nowhere left to run, Joshua appears from the shadows to save her, throwing away his own plan to save the girl he loves. Then, after a dramatic escape, which concludes with an airship chase scene, Estelle and Joshua are finally safe and able to talk. They argue. Joshua tries to leave again. Estelle won't let him. She learnt the truth behind Hamel, the town Joshua grew up in, while trapped aboard the 30%. A small, peaceful village within the Ebola Empire, located right next to the border of Liberal, destroyed in a brutal false flag operation by the pro-war faction of the Ebola Empire. Joshua has his back turned to leave. Estelle knows it all now. What happened to his town, his dark childhood, the death of his older sister that left him the emotionless, heartbroken shell that moved to Ouroboros' will. Joshua thinks Estelle must understand now. She must let him go. But feeling the pain locked deep away in Joshua, she runs up and embraces him from behind as he goes to leave and tells him, "No one is looking. Cry as much as you want, and I'll just hold you like this." She convinces him to stay. They kiss, and Joshua says, "I will walk with you until the end." Chapter 7. Ouroboros' evil plan is finally kicking off. Everything so far has just been them testing the Gospels in preparation for the big event. And that big event starts now. The Phantom of the Opera sex offender, the evil mafia Chinese man with sunnies, the homicidal lowly who's cute and funny, and the blue-haired gypsy dummy mommy each head to one of the 4 ancient towers across Liberal, causing the night sky to light up brighter than the skies above the Iron Dome during an Iranian-funded rocket attack. What can I say? The weather over there tends to make people a little cray-cray. Or maybe it's something to do with the crazy inbreeding statistics. But what the fuck would I know? I'm just some random Australian who shitposts on the internet for fun. Such questions are best left to the American grifting shill political YouTubers to argue about in debate videos where the goal is to dodge every question your opponent asks, then try to hit them with a loaded gotcha question moment. I'm gonna be real with you all for a moment. The damage that the political American YouTubers and streamers have done to the debate side of the world's political conversation is something that we will not only be feeling for decades, but will be an aspect of modern history heavily studied in higher education debate courses thoroughly in, I'd say, 30 years. So, seeing the towers light up across the skies of Liberal, Estelle and the gang start going between each of the towers to fight the enforcers. Each time you beat the end of tower enforcer boss battle, they say some shit like, "Nice, you're better than I expected. Guess I have to put in a little effort now." Only to get a message saying, "Job's done. Dip out now," and they proceed to fuck right off. Once you beat, no, that's not quite the right word. Like, you technically beat the boss fight, but story-wise, it ain't like that. The enforcers were only just about to bother taking you seriously. So once the enforcers leave, you get to see, you know what? It's better to just show you. know what I was expecting, but a godlike, ancient, magical flying megacity being pulled from another dimension was definitely not on my list. At this point in the game, I realize we have done quite a bit, but honestly, we haven't achieved anything yet. Though for Ouroboros, everything is going exactly according to plan. Chapter 8: The Orbital Revolution and its Consequences. So, remember how those little black gospel MacGuffins have that neat ability to basically EMP orbital tech? Well, that flying megacity that was locked away in another dimension also does the same thing, just on a much, much, much larger scale. Think about the effects it would have if the Carrington event from the late 1850s happened today. Airships fall from the sky, communication networks are all down, and the country's critical infrastructure has all stopped functioning. However, the people of Liberl, though thoroughly freaked out at both the loss of the power source that their country requires to function and the giant flying city just floating in the middle of their nation, they take it rather well, all things considered. In reality, we would be looting stores within the first minute and eating other people by the end of the first hour.
Whoever they send here, we're gonna catch them. We're gonna cook them. And we're gonna eat them.
But it's okay. Chad Dad, being the big brain Chad that he is, saw such an event coming and made the little rocket girl's grandpa build some anti-EMP devices. They are small, don't have much range, and they only have a few prototypes built. So, Estelle and the gang run around Liberl, giving one of the anti-gospel devices to the different guild branches to bring the phones back online. Swift and effective communication is the #1 priority in an emergency situation. So, the vast amount of this chapter is running between all the different towns and cities, until Ouroboros attacks the capital to kidnap the Queen, only for us to get there a step too late, with the Queen already in their hands. Until Colonel Richard arrives and saves the Queen and Chloe. Some things happened and some words were spoken that I can't remember, but Chloe, the Queen's granddaughter, steps up and becomes heir to the throne of Liberl. Right after that, we hear that the Ebola Empire is amassing troops on the border, demanding answers about what in Adios's name is going on. They are threatening to walk right into Liberl with their army and sort the whole mess out themselves, since the Liberalese seem incapable of dealing with it. Chloe takes the lead in negotiations, since she is now the heir to the throne of Liberl, and the one to take the lead on the Ebola Empire side is Prince Olivert. No relation to the bisexual Bard, who likes to joke about having intimate relations with minors. No more questions about that, please. Chad Dad rocks up in the Queen's airship, now able to fly again since they installed a bigger version of the orbital EMP resistor, showing that they are more than capable of dealing with the issues. Talks go well, Oliver is a massive bro and backs down. Then he proceeds to say something I liked so much, I will show the note I took of it at the time on screen. I can't double check while writing this, but I'm pretty sure I said something like based AF. But it would be super embarrassing if I was completely wrong about that. Chapter 9: The Finale. Estelle and the gang are on board the Queen's airship, now running thanks to the help of Professor Who's-It, Tita's grandfather. We get a cool anime cutscene with some airship shenanigans, and even get another appearance of the 30%. Then, we crash into the flying city from another dimension. We could have had a city like this in our own world, but Akon got cold feet. Absolute coward. So, it's time to explore fantasy Akon City ourselves. It's a lot of running around, getting some flying trains working, finding the Sky Bandit girl, and helping her save her Sky Bandit family. Then, it's time to do something you have never seen in a JRPG before. We are gonna head up a tower, kill mobs, and fight a boss at the end of each floor. Pretty crazy, I know. Now it's time to face each Ouroboros enforcer, for real. No more playing around. The order is Phantom of the Opera sex criminal, evil Chinese mafia man, blue-haired gypsy dommy mommy, the cute and funny Renee, the Angel of Slaughter, then Loe, the Blade Lord. Not gonna lie, when they released the remaster of this game, I will 100% look up Joshua versus Lowe fight on YouTube because I get the feeling it will be fucking badass. Here's some things I remember about the boss fights. I remember the Phantom of the Opera Man has the ability to make everyone wide. Also, Estelle slaps the cute and funny child psychopath, and Joshua uses a bit of that friendship is magic anime power-up ability to beat Loe, so it's all kinda funny. But now it's time for the final boss, Professor Wiseman. Now, what is the big, bad, evil guy's point to justify everything evil he's been doing? It boils down to basically this, from what I remember. The true nature of humanity is evil, so we must forcibly evolve humanity into the Ubermensch to bring peace and prosperity to the world. The road to hell is paved with good intentions and all that jazz. Wiseman pops up right after the fight with the Blade Lord and MK Ultras Joshua on the spot, activating his sleeper agent code phrase. So once again, Estelle is off to rescue her Prince Charming through the strongest ability known to man, girl power, and a big fucking stick. She says some smart shit, which I can't remember what it was, but I will put it on screen. Then gets one-tapped by Joshua in a scripted cutscene. Wiseman uses a special attack, and if I'm gonna be honest, when you use an attack that looks like the Eclipse from Berserk, you ain't beating the bad guy allegations, no matter how good of a point you make. Wiseman orders Joshua to kill Estelle. He moves towards her, blade in hand, then turns around and attacks Wiseman. What a twist! Father Kevin and Joshua did some anti-mind manipulation stuff, can't remember the specifics, but as you can see, it most assuredly worked. So the final boss battle begins. And not only does the Wiseman boss monster form look like it has a vagina for a moment, he can't be damaged at all. That is until Loe, the Blade Lord, the only survivor of Hamel other than Joshua, pulls a Colonel Richard and destroys the magic pillars powering the shield before collapsing from his wounds, helping Estelle and the gang fight on more even ground. After beating him up a bunch, Wiseman escapes, but as he's escaping, he runs into Father Kevin, who was waiting for him in the shadows of a hallway. Father Kevin proceeds to murder him on the spot after a little shit talk between them. I look forward to finding out more about these Grail Shitter Knights in a later title. Now, with the defeat of Wiseman, the magic keeping the magical flying city together and in the sky completely stops working. So everyone begins to dip out of there back to the ship. But Joshua and Estelle fall behind a little and get trapped. They tell everyone to keep going. They will take an alternate route, only to get trapped once again on a small platform. Estelle is trapped with nowhere to go, thousands of feet in the air once again, just like when she was on the 30%. This time, however, Joshua can't save her. He's trapped right there with her. Soon, the platform they stand upon will crash down to the earth, killing them both. They embrace. They kiss. They say how much they love each other, and the platform collapses. They fall and fall, but as they fall, They never release their embrace. They will hold on to each other until their final moments. In that moment, when all hope is lost and death seems all but certain, a shadow swoops down from the sky, saving the lovers. Now, who on Adios's green earth is badass enough to pull off such a rescue attempt? Well, there only exists one single man in liberal chat enough to descend from the sky on the back of a legendary dragon to save the day. Cassius motherfucking Bright. That's right, Chad Dad's here to save the day once again. He's so fucking dreamy. Estelle and Joshua stand in the ruins of Hamel, the sun setting in the background. Estelle says some words at his sister's grave. In the final moments in Trails of the Sky, 2nd chapter, Joshua and Estelle decide it's time to stop playing defensively and to leave Liberal and take the fight to Ouroboros. Then the credits roll. God, with a capital G. I really enjoyed that. Great game. I want to talk about my theory. My game theory. Okay, so I think that dude who made the orbital tech, Jeffrey Epstein, is still alive and is the head of Ouroboros for real for real. Here are the two main reasons why. Firstly, Ouroboros has crazy good orbital tech. Like, way more advanced than Liberal, the country where it was redeveloped after it was lost 1,000 years ago. Who on earth could be better than Epstein's disciples, like Tita's grandfather, at creating orbital tech? Well, obviously, Epstein himself would be, right? Think about it. Secondly, he gets name dropped a lot. Like, enough to make you go, I wonder if this is just to keep the name fresh in people's heads for a big reveal. And since, you know, everything that went down in our world, that name does stick out like a sore thumb. It's very, very hard not to notice when it pops up. I rate this game 5 stars on Goodreads, over installing a toilet under my computer chair so I don't have to take a break to go pee-pee for the next one. Excellent game. Similar to the first, but just better, because they didn't have to do so much world building setup. They could just get right into the story. If you want to pick up a copy of this game, it's $34.99 AUD on Steam, or $29.99 USD in a real country's money. Cheap CD key websites have it for around $11 to $13 USD. Whew, 5 months since my last video. Yikes.
Say the line!
Healers? I got distracted and hyperfixated on something for a few months again. What can I say? I am a creature of habit. On the bright side, I have already finished the script for that video, so it shouldn't take too long to make. Or maybe it will. You see, the script for the next video is 20 pages long. For reference, this video was 8 pages long. So, even though I was hoping to try get out a video a month for 2026, I am not sure how long what I am estimating to be an hour-and-a-half video will take to edit. So, if I fail to finish it on time, I will post a video with every meme I have posted to the Patreon Discord. A still slightly confused thank you to the Schizos, Kadar, Sean Wade, Sean is an oven dodger, Victor Tran, Bromthrax, Little Depress, and Piss Provider, who subbed to a Patreon where everything on it is free. You'll need professional help. Though, now I think on it, I can't post every meme I have posted to the Patreon Discord, because no matter how funny I find this Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion anime girl edit, at the end of the day, a 2-minute instructional video on how to cook crystal meth is probably not allowed on YouTube. Chapter 5. Evil Professor Wiseman and the Edgelord of Ouroboros, the Blade Lord, go and catch a legendary Rayquaza? How the fuck do you pronounce that? Fuck. Rayquaza? Chapter 5. Evil Professor Wiseman and the Edgelord of Ouroboros, the Blade Lord, go catch a legendary Rayquaza. Rayquaza? 'Cause, 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 Fuck. I gotta look this one up. Just hold you like this. She convinces him to stay. They kiss. And Joshua says, I will walk with you until the very end. Whenever that sounds good or fucking retarded.